Hey, and welcome to the Chronic Wrestling Addiction Podcast. Today you're going to be sitting down to listen to Baker's Corner, a brand new segment that we're bringing around twice a week here on Chronic Wrestling Addiction. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
So to start off the night tonight, they had a really good opener here where you see Asuka walk down to the middle of the ring, starting off a promo segment there with Charlotte, because they were supposed to have a match right to start the beginning of the show. And this was a good segment, really good. Charlotte was being her heel self and just being very arrogant, very brutish. But, man, they got interrupted by Sasha and Bayley. I was really looking forward to that match. We're going to get it a little later on in the night, but right now it's a little talking segment between Sasha, Bayley, Charlotte, Asuka. Goes on for a little bit, not too much to talk about during it. The Iconics end up interrupting halfway through, ends up leading into an all-out brawl between the three teams. Sasha and Bayley are teaming on Asuka, and the Iconics are double teaming on Charlotte here. It's a great little segment here, kind of ripping the divide, kind of showing that Asuka and Charlotte are the bigger threats out of the 6 women in the ring. So you see the two teams ganging up on Asuka and Charlotte, and then they kind of back off and they hit face to face with Bayley and Sasha and the Iconics here, which leads right into our first match of the night, which is a triple threat tag team match, leading into Backlash, where the Iconics will be facing Bayley, Sasha, and the team of Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. So there's some tensions between those two teams right there, Sasha and the Iconics, so they have a tag team match coming up over the weekend. And Asuka and Charlotte, their rivalry goes back years, and Asuka's never beaten Charlotte yet, which is a good storyline. I think they have a lot more way to go and a lot more things to do in the future with this. It's one of those not interesting, I don't really like these types of triple threat tag teams, where there's only 2 opponents in the ring, and then a full team on the outside, and then anyone can tag anyone. It goes on for a little bit. Like I said, it was a good opener. It was solid. Some little bit of divides here between Charlotte and Asuka, as you expect. The Iconics are doing great double team work, just keep tagging in and out, making sure that the other opponents are kind of left away. So is Sasha and Bayley, the 2 proper tag teams in this triple threat tag team match, and you see some detention starting between Charlotte and Asuka, which leads into leads into the finish where Asuka ends up getting the pin, and then they're celebrating and Charlotte just lays her out. Point in the night here is we get a Rey Mysterio interview, seeing if he's going to retire or not after that brutal attack from Seth Rollins a few weeks back. But before this starts, Seth Rollins walks out into the ring, kicks Brian Saxton off the announce table, and he's going to be front and center for this interview. really good segment back and forth between Ray and Seth here. That whole Dominic thing was an eye for an eye, and Ray vows that once he's 100%, he's not going to wait till the end of the match to give Seffy Boy there that 619. That 619 has the Monday Night Messiah's name on it, and it's coming right at the start of the match. Not a lot to say about this segment. It was really good. Built up this little feud that they're going to have once Ray's 100% after his eye all heals up, and that's about it for that. Once the interview is done, Aleister Black rushes Seth Rollins and attacks him, leading into the commercial break. And when we come back, we get a tag team match, which we've seen once or twice before now, which it will be Austin Theory, Blake Murphy versus Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo. Man, can I just take the point to say that Austin Theory and Blake Murphy, I bet, are going to be tag team champions by the end of next year. This disciple gimmick that they have with Seth Rollins is amazing, and Buddy Murphy is a great tag team wrestler, and he can really bring up Austin Theory's stock. He's a great up and coming wrestler here, and I see great things in his future. But tonight, they were on the losing effort here. Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo got the win, but the point away to take in this match was the aftermath. After the match was done, you hear Rey Mysterio's music come on, and lo and behold, it's Seth Rollins wearing a Rey Mysterio mask. He comes down, rushes the ring, and it's a 3-on-2 beatdown, leading to Seth Rollins curb stomping Aleister Black. Throughout the night, they've been hyping up this greatest wrestling match ever between Edge and Randy Orton. And tonight, our next segment, a peep show. Good old Christian's back, and he's interviewing his best friend Edge here. During this interview, for the first little bit, I honestly thought Ed was getting berated and talked down to by Christian. I actually thought he was coming off kind of like an asshole during it, but turns out it was just a way for him to hype his brother up. It was all in all, it was a good actual promo. It was a good little talk show moment. I've said it in the past before, but you guys haven't heard it, but I definitely tweeted before that these constant talk shows I find are kind of annoying with the amount that we have right now. But when they serve a purpose, like the Peep Show does, when they bring back someone from the past and has them do a legitimate, actual worthy segment, it can turn out really well. Christian brings up Edge's mom and how she's always been there for all of his major accomplishments, and how she's going to be sitting right there watching him beat Randy Orton this Sunday. And segment ends, and you see the fire in Edge's eyes. He's ready for that match on Sunday, and so am I. So, on to a low point in the show tonight. I personally find that this, anything that you can do where we can do better segment stuff with the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits, I'm honestly not a fan of it. Yes, I get it. They've done it in the past with MVP and Matt Hardy, which did it a hell of a lot better, I find. I'll talk a little bit later about my thoughts on MVP, but I think he's super underrated. He did great things overseas in Japan, and I think he is just a great person, and I honestly think that Matt and him did it a lot better a couple years ago. But they did a decathlon, ending in a tie. We all knew it was going to end in a tie. They did like a 600-meter run. They did bow and arrows, a high jump, a shot put, a turkey leg eating contest at one point, sword fighting, just childish stuff. Like, get it over with, just have the match already, it just needs to get done and over with. That is all I'm talking about in this segment. It's nothing to worry about, nothing to watch if you are going to watch this episode of Raw. So next thing of the night is Apollo Crews comes down to the ring, all hyping up how he's United States champion, and now he's ready for a fight, and that after the recurrence of last week when Andrade and Angel Garza interrupted him and Kevin Owens' match leading to that tag team match last week, we're getting a number one contenders triple threat match between the team of Angel Garza and Andrade versus Kevin Owens. So you know that there's going to be some tension in this match between the team. Andrade and Angel Garza, they've had some back and forths in the past that we all thought was done with. Now that Austin Theory's no longer in that stable, but it rears ugly head again today, and I'm glad to say that Andrade won. I think Andrade and Apollo can have a really good match down the line at Backlash. They're two great competitors. I also can't wait to see this match between Angel Garza and Andrade that we're actually building up to. I'm kind of sad to see that Kevin Owens kind of took a back seat in this match. Yes, he had a lot of good offense, but the main point of this match was between Andrade and Angel Garza. We get a point where they both fall out they start fighting, and they go to the exit of the ring, and they both shove Zelina Vega to the ground, and she's taken off that medical staff. And I can't wait to see those two go at it in a 1-on-1 situation. Next up, we get the VIP lounge with MVP, and his guest is supposed to be Bobby Lashley. He's talking about how his next guest has one of the most devastating moves currently going in WWE, and may I say that it's so nice to see that a full Nelson is getting the praise that it's getting right now, being Bobby Lashley's finish. It looks super mean. Yes, it can look kind of weak at times when certain people put on, but the way that Bobby just reefs it in and just makes, and everyone else just sells, it looks so good. But we don't get Bobby Lashley. We get Drew McIntyre. And he goes to the ring, looks at MVP, he's like, you forgot to say one thing there, but I'm the WWE Champion. You forgot to say that in your intro. And then Bobby and him have MVP and Drew have a little face-to-face. But Bobby Lashley ends up getting into the ring and trying to put that full Nelson on McIntyre. But they get interrupted by the Viking Raiders. We get a 2-peat for them tonight. So, our next match is MVP and Bobby Lashley versus the Viking Raiders. May I just say this right now? I love this tag team of Bobby Lashley and MVP. I said it earlier, MVP is so underrated. He's probably one of the best things on Raw right now. If you want my opinion, that is it. He has been a gold star since they brought him back. His mic work, his in-ring work is impeccable. His storyline with Lana and Bobby Lashley is to die for. I love it right now. But we get this okay match between the two teams. We know that there's going to be interference by Drew McIntyre. He's sitting at ringside, and he waits until basically the end of the match to get involved. You see Bobby Lashley is just reefing on the full Nelson. I think it was Eric that he had it in, and he starts tapping out, and you see Drew McIntyre get up. Bobby Lashley drops the hold, goes to confront him, but ends up spearing Eric. They throw him back in the ring. They get Eric in the full Nelson, and the Street Profits run down, and they're trying to break the full Nelson. They can't do it, and here comes a Claymore out of nowhere to break up that submission hold. They're really, really building up this full Nelson versus the Claymore. I'm really happy to see it, and we're going to have to find out what happens on Sunday. And if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I'm going to say Lana's going to get involved on Sunday in some shape or form. Okay, next up is our main event of the evening. It's that match that we were supposed to have planned for the start of the show. It is Asuka versus Charlotte Flair. Both competitors make it down to the ring, and before the bell can ring, we are interrupted by Sasha Banks. She looks like she might have changed her outfits from earlier in the night, and now out comes Bayley. If you see Sasha come out, you know Bayley is soon to follow. I have some views on those two's dynamic right now. I do think Sasha will end up turning on Bayley at some point, but for right now, their storyline is very well written and very well done. So the two of them go onto the commentary booth, and we get a barn burner between Charlotte and Asuka. Every one of their matches have been so amazing in the past years. I cannot wait to see this get blown off at a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam. I don't want to see it blown off at a small pay-per-view or a no-crowded pay-per-view. This has to be somewhere where there's a live crowd, and that's not the NXT recruits, which I will get to next in my second last point of the night, because, man, were some of those chants annoying tonight, but we'll get to that in a second. So, it's a great match, back and forth. At some point, I don't know if I missed it, but Sasha and Bayley get kicked out and they go backstage, and it's just, the end of the match is great. It's a back and forth. You really think a couple times in there that Asuka is going to win. There's a great roll-up situation that looks just painful. She's trying to get the Asuka lock on Charlotte, and Charlotte's just mangled on the floor, like crawling and like rolling around trying to get out of it, and she ends up does. And here comes Nia Jax, yay, to interfere in what could be like one of the best feuds of the year between Charlotte and Asuka, because we all know that Naya's not isn't like most girls, and she's the one facing Asuka at Backlash. So she rigged her ugly head, ran the interference, ran the distraction, and Charlotte just boots Asuka in the face. Just levels her and just pins her, just super clean and easy. And that's the end of the match for that. The next takeaway here is, Nia runs in for a few seconds, does the Samoan drop, ends the match. Like, the match was over. She had to get her 5 seconds in because anything more than that, and she probably hurt Asuka, right? Like, So that was the end of the actual show. It was a good show. I'd give it about, 4.5 out of 10. It wasn't terrible. It had some really good matches, it had some good segments in it, but it wasn't something to go rewatch if you were bored one night and wanted to rewatch a Raw. It's not one of those picks, I would say. But I mentioned the NXT recruits here a little while ago, and man, they were really annoying. I don't know if one of them was mic'd up and he shouldn't have been, but you could just hear this one guy every couple matches. It sounded like he was literally just talking to one of his buddies in the crowd. It was super annoying. He kept chanting like stupid stuff during the Peep Show segment, like, come on, man, they pre-recorded the show. They could have fixed the audio in some of these segments and some of the crowd noises. It was really, really disheartening, and it was really, really distracting from what could have been a great segment in the Peep Show and what was a bona fide, could have been a great match in the opener, in that triple threat match. But that crowd reaction and that one person just made that first match just unbearable for me. And I didn't like it. It shouldn't have been that way. They could have fixed it, and the match would have been greatly improved by it. But that was Baker's Corner, and I'm Michael, the small town baker. Tune in on Friday for my Smackdown review, where I will be introducing the Baker's Dozen. Well, good night and have a wonderful day.
We here at Chronic Wrestling Addiction wanted to thank you for listening, and remember, if you like what you heard, head on over to our pages and give us a follow.